Imagine a country that just last decade was internationally condemned for a brutal political assassination, where thousands face execution yearly, and women's freedoms were all but non-existent. Now picture that same country rolling out the red carpet in Washington, receiving the green light to buy cutting-edge F-35 fighter jets, advanced microchips, and nearly 300 Abrams tanks. Sounds like a dramatic turnaround, right? But here's the twist. This is exactly what happened when Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman returned from his recent visit to the White House, backed by Donald Trump himself. To understand this, let's rewind a bit. In 2018, the world recoiled when Jamal Khashoggi, a Saudi journalist critical of the regime, was brutally murdered. The U.S. intelligence community squarely blamed bin Salman. President Joe Biden even pledged to halt arms sales to Saudi Arabia, branding it a pariah state. Yet, geopolitics intervened. The war in Ukraine spiked oil prices and disrupted global markets, pushing the Biden administration to lean on Saudi Arabia and OPEC to stabilize these markets. This delicate balance led to softened U.S. stances on arms deals, and now with Trump back to power, Saudi Arabia's ambitions have skyrocketed. Bin Salman is no ordinary leader. Under his rule, Saudi Arabia has eased some oppressive laws, especially for women, lifting guardianship restrictions, allowing women to drive and work independently, even bringing back theaters, concerts, and public sports. But don't be fooled. It's still an absolute monarchy with rampant censorship, political repression, and a skyrocketing execution rate, with over 320 deaths already in 2025. So, while there's a veneer of modernization, the autocratic grip remains ironclad. Now, about the billions promised during the visit, Trump proclaimed Saudi investments in the U.S. would hit a staggering $1 trillion. Reality check? Actual direct Saudi investments barely crossed $12 billion, mostly financial, not the flashy factory or infrastructure projects advertised. In fact, their direct investments in the U.S. have been shrinking lately, likely because Saudi capital is tied up fueling their own grandiose Vision 2030 mega projects at home. So these headline numbers? Mostly smoke and mirrors crafted for political theater. But here's where things get really complicated, and why this visit could reshape Middle Eastern geopolitics. Saudi Arabia's newly approved purchase of F-35 jets has ignited fury in Israel. Until now, Israel held a monopoly on these stealth fighters in the region, granting it a decisive military edge. Suddenly, with Saudi Arabia just minutes away by air, getting access, that qualitative advantage evaporates. Israeli officials warn this could radically shift regional security. Israel's current air operations rely on stealth. The introduction of Saudi F-35s could force costly overhaul of their defense strategies. Plus, there's the fear that advanced U.S. tech might indirectly reach China via Saudi-Chinese ties, something Pentagon intelligence flagged months ago. But the White House seemingly shrugged off. Additionally, this move challenges long-standing U.S. policy, legally obligated to ensure Israel's qualitative military edge. Israel's top generals openly lament that leadership has failed to protect national security interests, hinting this might be a harsh consequence of shifting U.S. political priorities and economic incentives. Speaking of incentives, the Trump family is no stranger to Saudi money. Since Khashoggi's murder, Trump-linked businesses have signed over $50 billion worth of deals with Saudi entities. Jared Kushner's investment firm received $2 billion from the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, with expected commissions exceeding $125 million. Even Trump's son Don Jr. has been frequently spotted in Riyadh. These personal financial entanglements add another layer to the story. Is this policy driven by national interest or by ties of cash and influence? So why does all this matter to you? Because this recalibration in U.S.-Saudi relations affects global energy markets, military balances, and technology flows. Oil prices influence inflation and fuel costs worldwide. Military sales and alliances shift geopolitical risk, impacting markets and investments. And the opening of chip technology sales to Saudi Arabia, once restricted to prevent Chinese access, could have knock-on effects on the global tech supply chain and competition. As Saudi Arabia seeks to shift from an oil-dependent monarchy to a regional powerhouse with diversified industries and a burgeoning tourist sector, the world watches closely. But the question remains, are these moves the dawn of a stable new Middle Eastern order? Or a risky gamble with global consequences, including a possible strain on the U.S.-Israel alliance? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. Behind the smiles and handshakes lies a complex game of power, money, and influence that could redefine how energy, security, and diplomacy intertwine. And that, my friends, is a story we all need to keep an eye on.